On today's BizNews Briefing, Cyril's special envoy to the US denied entry, General Mkhwanazi needs whistleblower protection, while Gayton McKenzie says he's ready to testify. Investors pile into catastrophe bonds, Tesla dips its toe in India, and ASML earnings show AI demand still soaring. Stay tuned. It's Wednesday, the 16th of July. This is your BizNews Briefing. I'm Stuart Lohman. With just 2 weeks to go before the US tariffs kick in, the Democratic Alliance's Emma Powell says President Ramaphosa's special envoy has been sidelined. She warns that South Africa is hurtling towards disaster as diplomatic efforts stall.
So, diplomatically speaking, there is no one leading the charge currently to try and repair relations with the United States, or am I mistaken?
To my knowledge, you are correct. We do not have an ambassador in Washington, D.C., who is empowered. We know now that our president's special envoy to the United States has, in fact, not been in the United States, nor has that special envoy been negotiating on behalf of our head of state. We are unable to ascertain exactly what DTIC, that's Minister Parks Towers Department, the Department of Trade and Industry, is doing. Yesterday, I received a raft of responses to parliamentary questions, very broad brushstrokes, very scant on details. What we know is that the United States require three things from us. They require South Africa to urgently resolve a number of what they call trade irritants. These are specifically in areas relating to, for example, pork and a number of other refined sectors. We know that South Africa needs to engage more thoroughly and honestly on some of the more political concerns. We would call those non-tariff, non-trade barriers. And we know that the United States, in regards to President Donald Trump's America First trade policy, wants South Africa to present a competitive deal where the US is offered the same terms of access to our markets that the European Union and China do. Right now, Chris, we're not sure that anything of any substantive nature is being done, and the jury's out. We've got 2 weeks to go until the 1st of August. It's, of course, not with any level of glee that we draw our sword in the manner that we do. We do not delight in releasing statements like this that cause antagonism and upset within the government of national unity. But unfortunately, we can't sit in our hands. We can't sit pretty. We know that President Ramaphosa is most likely saving face by retaining this special envoy despite diplomatic visas having been rejected, despite the US having informed the presidency that they will not engage with Mr. Jonas. So it's my contention here that President Ramaphosa is more invested in saving face than he is in acting in the national interest and ensuring that we get a deal across the line by the 1st of August. And it's the poorest people of this nation that will once again pay the price.
That full interview is available on BizNews TV on YouTube. Following General Mkhwanazi's explosive revelations, should he be given whistleblower protection? My colleague Christine spoke to Corruption Watch's Moira Campbell.
Now, following the bombshell allegations made by General Mkhwanazi, there have been attempts to discredit him, and there are fears for his life even. However, he does have huge public support. How would you describe his position?
I think we take very seriously his position as a whistleblower. I think the minute he came out with allegations and evidence that he referred to, he is a whistleblower and he should receive protection. He should, under the Constitution, he should be able to appear at the commission safely, securely. And I think we are concerned about victimization of Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. I think, it took a lot for him to come forward. It's a brave act to be a whistleblower in this country. We know that, in particular in this sector. So I think in terms of I think there are perhaps undercurrents at play. Those should be just disregarded, because in the I think if you're looking at it purely objectively, he is a whistleblower. He's come forward with serious allegations. They must be investigated. We must get to the bottom of this, and he should be protected in the process. So he would certainly have our support as the whistleblower.
That full interview will be made available on BizNews TV on YouTube. Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture Gayton McKenzie says he's ready to testify at the Commission, warning that explosive revelations are coming.
General Mkhwanazi is blaming the minister, Mkhunu, the minister and them are blaming. So let's get to the truth of it. It's just that people must understand it's frustrating when you want action right now and you want things to happen. But this thing is so delicate that I'm telling you, what is going to come out of that? South Africans must be ready. I'm also going to testify at the Commission because I know things. If they call me, I'm going. About these guns in the Western Cape that kills our people. This one is not get your popcorn ready. Go and get the popcorn factory ready, because this thing, the corruption is going to come out of there. Had every gang boss of every cartel in the world, always when you hear they're being arrested in South Africa, they are here. What are these people doing here?
This is where the unthinkable happened. They just came here and took his car.
No. I sold it to them. What's this?
It's crime scene tape. Did they pay you at least?
Within 15 minutes, money was in my account.
Were you happy with the number they brought you?
I got almost the same price of what I paid for the car. Everything was easy, everything was painless.
Well, there you have it, South Africa. With We Buy Cars, you won't come short. I'll tell you really.
1.93.
We Buy Cars, the easiest way to sell your car by far.
At Sun Exchange, we make going solar simple, profitable, and completely risk-free. Join over 100 satisfied South African customers already enjoying the benefits of risk-free solar. Start saving today. Visit sunexchange.com and join the solar revolution.
Right now, you can get the cheapest Forex rate around, right here, on Shift. Pay less for your dollars, pounds, and euros here, and get to shop more here, and do more here, and enjoy more ooh la la here. Shift also lets you trade and transfer currencies, and buy shares in the world's best companies. It all happens right here on Shift. You won't find a cheaper Forex rate anywhere else, no matter where you bank. Download the Shift app today.
As climate risks mount, investors are piling into catastrophe bonds. Why are insurers offloading risk? And who's taking the bet? Here's my colleague, Alec Hogg.
There's a wonderful saying about the rich getting richer, but that's until they don't. As a young reporter, I remember the disaster that happened amongst many in the wealthy segment in South Africa when Lloyd's of London had a call on the investors who had guaranteed their backing when a catastrophe hit. It wiped out a lot of very wealthy South African families. And right now, there are many people who believe that climate change is a hoax, and as a consequence of that, they're taking some pretty huge bets that there will not be the kind of massive catastrophe which will cause, or climate change-driven catastrophe, that will cause another huge payout. Insurance companies, those guys who work the odds and invest in hundreds, if not thousands of actuaries to do their numbers, are taking in money, offsetting the risks of a climate change catastrophe by bringing in Lloyd's of London type investors, wealthy people all around the world, pension funds, family offices as they call them, and others. So far, there hasn't been a call. But like that Lloyd's of London story of some years ago, Who knows when the next big smash is around the corner? Our partners at the Financial Times of London gave a close look to this issue. Let's join Sonia Hudson and Lee Harris on today's FT News Briefing.
Insurers are issuing catastrophe bonds at a record rate. These companies are trying to offload some of the growing risk from climate change. And they're finding an eager market in investors who are looking for high returns. Here to talk more about how climate change is reshaping the bond market is the FT's Lee Harris. First off, how exactly do catastrophe bonds or cat bonds work?
Yeah, it's kind of a cute name for a pretty high risk, although high reward investment. So big insurers, particularly U.S. insurers, the likes of State Farm and Citizens, which is Florida's state-backed insurer, it's a way that they kind of spread or offload the risk of their biggest, most infrequent disasters, the likes of a Hurricane Katrina or a massive U.S. earthquake that would completely empty out their reserves. They can share those risks with capital markets investors. So from the investor side, hedge funds and pensions and family offices really like buying cat bonds because they offer really high returns. The only caveat is that if there's a big storm, they're on the hook for it. So they pay out in the wake of a large storm.
And just how big of an increase in these catastrophe bonds are we talking about here so far this year?
It's pretty chunky. So last year was also a record. There were about $17.7 billion worth of cat bonds sold in 2024. And now we're only halfway through 2025, and already insurers have issued $18.1 billion of cat bonds.
Lee, why are insurance companies issuing so many of them? I mean, like you mentioned, this is a huge increase in issuance from last year.
Yeah, the costs of big catastrophes are climbing pretty much every year. So over $100 billion a year of insured losses used to be extraordinary, but is now the new normal in terms of the payouts that big insurers are facing on extreme weather events.
So this is basically a high-risk, high-reward investment. What does this all tell us about how climate change is reshaping financial markets?
I think as the bill for climate change grows, more investors are finding a way to take bets on different parts of that market. So climate change has already been a big growth opportunity for the insurance industry as, homes and businesses have looked to shift more of the risks that they're facing onto insurers for an often pretty high price. And capital markets investors, alternative investors see a way in. The question is, when that event finally hits, whether they'll stay in the market or whether after facing a big payout, they could pull out and potentially create some real volatility driving up insurance prices.
India is the world's third largest car market, and Tesla has opened its first showroom, Bloomberg reports.
It is a significant move in that after years of back and forth and stop-start negotiations with the Indian government over its high and steep tariffs on car imports, Tesla has finally decided to enter the Indian market. But for PM Modi, who has made local manufacturing the cornerstone of the Indian industrial push, this is not a very satisfying move, given that Tesla is only going to make a bit of a cautious start, a soft landing, if you will, by importing cars into the Indian market to really test the waters first. What we're seeing is Tesla launching with 2 experience centers, one here in Mumbai in the financial capital and one in New Delhi, which is set to open up later this month. So it is significant because it is a milestone, of course, because it is the world's most valuable EV company. India is, although a complex market, too big to ignore. It is the 3rd largest car market in the world. So Tesla has decided to dip its toes. It's not the kind of full-fledged manufacturing push that India was hoping for, but it will allow the brand to really gauge demand for the market, for its cars with the country's affluent buyers.
Weighted debut yet has been pretty low-key. How do you explain the approach that Tesla is taking to a huge market like India?
No, absolutely. It is low-key, especially considering how the other global car makers have approached the Indian market. So we're not really seeing a PR or a media blitz around this launch. There's no Bollywood celebrity cutting a ribbon here. And it is a very Tesla-like playbook. Clearly, it is banking on the organic brand pull that the brand, has in other global markets to really do the work in India as well. The best way to look at these experience centers will be as kind of live market experiments. Tesla is about to find out how many people walk into these stores, the kind of buzz that the brand is able to generate, and then how that buzz really translates to people wanting to pony up the cash and pay a very steep premium to actually buy these cars in India.
Tesla dipping its toe rather than jumping in head first. Now, Dutch giant ASML smashed order expectations in the second quarter as the AI boom continues to fuel soaring demand. Bloomberg reports.
If we look at its order bookings number in Q2, it's about 5.5 billion euros. So it should be slightly better than expected. So I think that the market may be a bit relieved and to see the number. And in Q1, the number was 3.9 billion euro. And if we have to look the numbers in detail, but its order booking in Q2 should be pretty similar number to the revenue level, so probably book-to-bill ratio should be around 1.0. So that's a quite maybe relieving number. And but if we look at the Q3 revenue numbers, probably the market consensus seems to be maybe aiming at around 8 billion euro. And now ASML is guiding around in the midpoint 7.65 billion euro, so slightly lower than the kind of consensus level. But still, the company could achieve growth in 2025. Saying 25 growth should be possible. So overall numbers should be fine, I guess.
Is there anything you're going to be watching out for in the coming analyst call? Some of the key topics, perhaps around tariffs or China. What are you watching out for?
Yes, the most important point should be the maybe its a growth outlook in 2026 or 2027, and the company is now saying that the most advanced high-end EUV equipment they shipped the first one in Q2. So probably if they can keep the growth momentum for the high-end EUV tools going forward, that should be the maybe we can say that the growth scenario is intact for ASML. And also, as you say, that ASML's revenue in China could be another focus, and they have some restrictions to export to China, and we have to see the numbers in Q2 for the China revenue. But going forward, whether they see still solid demand from China or not should be a very important part.
Both ASML and Tesla are in the BizNews portfolios, and as a premium member, you can attend the monthly webinar hosted by my colleague, Alec Hogg. And that's it for today's BizNews Briefing. We'll return tomorrow with more context on both global and local events. A big thanks to the BizNews production team. From me, Stuart Lohman. Until then.